Let's talk a little bit about the ways that Fox News is attempting to defend Donald Trump from what was revealed, both in the Mueller report and in yesterday's comments by Robert Mueller himself. It comes in two different forms, but both are incredibly dishonest. The first, Fox and Friends, here is a short segment of this morning's broadcast.
He refuses to look at the nuance and the new language that Mueller put out. I don't blame him. He says, listen, he didn't find anything. He didn't find anything. That's it.
He said that means innocence. In this country, you have to be proven guilty. If there's not enough evidence to prove you guilty, you are still innocent. And he said, because they didn't do that, I am still innocent.
So, I kind of want to jettison a little bit of the fact that this is a talk show host and all that. Let's just be honest about what is going on there. They know that it's incredibly likely that Donald Trump is watching them. Like Pete Hegseth, you can see sometimes when he finishes a comment, he like looks at the camera almost as if he's staring into Donald Trump's eyes and wondering, did I do a good job? Did you like that little comment there? But look at what was in that clip. So in the Mueller report, you have basically three things. You have the facts about what Russia did, which are not up for dispute at this point. You have whether there was a criminal conspiracy between Russia and the Donald Trump campaign. And then you have obstruction of justice. And so they say, well, of course he's frustrated. He believes that he's innocent. And then Ainsley Earhardt says, in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty, which is true. So they're saying, let's not talk about what Russia did. Let's not talk about corruption of justice. Let's just focus on the fact that Mueller specifically says there is insufficient evidence to charge a broader criminal conspiracy, which is true. And we have to accept that that is true. And that if someone was going to find the evidence, he had a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of people. Now, he did face fairly unprecedented obstruction of justice, but he had a lot of access too. So it is true, they had insufficient evidence. But as a human, don't you hear that and think, okay, we're not gonna charge him. It doesn't look like he did anything, but that's not as reassuring as you're pretending it is. Like imagine if you found out that I was being investigated for killing my brother. And after 2 years, they come back and say, there's insufficient evidence to charge him with murder. Would you like wanna get on an elevator with me at that point? Like, yes, I'm innocent, I'm not going to jail, but that doesn't sound great. And that occurs in the midst of all of what is described about Russia's obvious goal in getting him elected. You can support Donald Trump and be a conservative, be a crazy radical right winger, and still be kind of concerned about that. But if you watch Fox and Friends, you're not concerned about that. You're not concerned about obstruction of justice because they are very narrowly threading a needle to make it seem as if the honest declaration that Donald Trump will not be charged with anything related to a criminal conspiracy means nothing bad happened and we can just move on as a country. But far more deranged than Fox and Friends is Sean Hannity, which I don't watch and you shouldn't watch, but if you do watch, I wanna give you a little bit of taste of what you will experience, not over the course of a full hour, but over the course of literally one paragraph on Media Matters. And that's why we're not showing you the video. I wanna read it so that I can do a little bit of commentary. Here's what he said last night. You've had 2 years of lies and hoaxes and conspiracy theories peddled every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Which of course is not true. The vast majority of what you've had is honest reporting about developments in the story. There's no hoax there. And the conspiracy theories largely had to do with Seth Rich and Uranium One, and that was Sean Hannity that was peddling those. But let's move on. And it's just one more round of lying tinfoil hat conspiracy theories. So that's what you got out of Robert Mueller's incredibly measured response was, it's just another round of tinfoil hat conspiracy theories. Let's see, Trump bashing over a narrative that is totally dead and buried. He doesn't even believe that, let's say it is a narrative. It's obviously not dead and buried. You're doing a broadcast right now on TV about it. But that's the sort of thing that you say when you don't care if your language is actually reflective of reality. But we move on because tonight, well, the fact remains there was no Trump-Russia collusion. There was no obstruction, nothing has changed. Okay, there might not have been a Trump-Russia conspiracy, we will grant you that. That was the conclusion of the report. But there was obstruction, there were 10 or 11 counts of it detailed, incredibly detailed, in the Mueller report, which Sean Hannity will neither read nor acknowledge, and nothing has changed. That again is true. We already knew about the obstruction from the Mueller report. That was just confirmed yesterday when Mueller spoke, but he ignored it then, he's ignoring it now. He goes on to say, Mueller has spent 20 plus months, 25 plus million investigating a hoax, But let's stop there, because he knows, as we all know, that yes, the investigation does have a cost associated with it. Nobody seems to know what it is. It goes from 20 to 40 million depending on what Trump is tweeting at a particular moment. But we also know that because of largely Paul Manafort, it has taken in more than that in value, assets that have been seized and things like that. But he goes on to say, let's jump ahead a little bit. You have a career bureaucrat, nothing more than a Trump-hating partisan who is now all but cheering for impeachment based on nothing except for the 10 or 11 counts of obstruction that are detailed that you could read if you wanted to. And we were right the entire time. But you weren't right about everything. You weren't right about most, like the obstruction of justice. You, by the way, spent 2 years asking for him to obstruct justice. It has now been detailed. You should be pleased with that. But of course, you're not even acknowledging that it happened. He also says that Robert Mueller is a partisan hack. This is where people are getting information from, and reporting today shows that a lot of Fox viewers say that they have heard nothing negative coming out of the report. Well, that's a shocker, considering what media they're ingesting.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.